Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. High Priestess tier, you will have a video post later this evening, and channel members, you will have a collective reading that posts later this evening as well, so definitely check back for that. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, taking a step aside, and allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. Ooh, where to go? Where to go? Where do we go? Over here? Okay, the temple. In this collective that this message is coming for, there is this energy of coming to the altar of something that's extremely sacred, right? The thing about this is that this energy is being clarified by the threshold. There seems to be some kind of decision here. And I'm going to hold these up so that you can look at these while I'm talking about these particular cards. There seems to be something here that is ultimate. It's the sacred. It's the epitome of, whatever it is that we actually desire for ourselves and for our lives. And we're currently being stripped bare of our storylines, of some of us, our associations, some cycles, in order to really get to the heart of what this actually is. When I look at this card, the word that comes to me is always devotion. And if you notice the green and the yellow, these are very solar plexus, heart space colors. This is about getting back to some sort of center of devotion. This could be in love. This could be in our self-sovereignty. But this is most importantly about how do we grow into a space. It's weird. I don't usually use this word, but the word that they're kind of like pulling out of me is a space of sanctification, right? There are things that have to be left behind, and many of you have left something big behind with the solar eclipse, but there is more, right? The time between this particular solar eclipse up until just after this full moon feels very significant for the revelation of things, for the stripping away of things. And I'm going to be honest, I'm feeling this energy that after that full moon, anything that we haven't managed to pull away from ourselves is quite possibly for many of us is going to come crashing down. So this is a time to be very honest with ourselves. We're at the threshold of something here. And this threshold is asking us, are you brave enough to cross, right? One of the reasons why our feet are anchored on this threshold and we may be afraid to cross is because of the unseen. This is actually the card that's underneath that. And you may be the kind of person who perceives the things that you don't know are about to happen as an obstacle, right, with the mountain. This comes down to lacking personal vision. This comes down to not trusting in yourself or in the universe. And the whole process of the movement of the planets, of the stars, of our lives, our souls as we go through our experiences is to slowly strip away the fear matrix, to slowly strip away that inability to trust, right? Because when we don't trust, what are we exhibiting? We're exhibiting the war energy. Some of you have had some very big lessons about the war energy, the way that you exhibit it, right? How often do you project upon others? Are you able to understand when you project upon others and calmly speak about it? Or do you find that you project upon others and you hold to that story? This is a persistent behavior that people engage in when they're really unwilling to grow or to change. And I know that there's a lot of illumination regarding that sort of war energy inside of this collective. That's not the only thing that's been illuminated. There's been a lot. It does really center around that word devotion, though. This is a time where those sorts of illusions are being stripped away, whether they're being stripped out of your story by closing the door on certain people who are embodying that archetype, or whether it is mending relationships with others who exhibit that archetype. There are a lot of shifting storylines that are happening right now as this collective learns to step over that threshold very slowly. The thing is that the faster we do this isn't necessarily the better, right? Sometimes when we do things too fast and we try to move on too fast, we haven't fully integrated that lesson. And so if you're someone who you're pushing against the natural speed of things, don't allow yourself the space not to do that, and to understand that things are bubbling up from your subconscious, things are bubbling up from the 3D. If you're part of my High Priestess tier, you know that I believe that this is our subconscious, that there are things that are bubbling up right now to be dealt with that may take some time. They may take some time to actually see. And so the point of it is that whatever is bubbling up, be sure that you do look at it, and that you look at it through an honest lens, not a lens of trying to placate others, not a lens of trying to keep yourself safe, not a lens of trying to not break your own heart. Some of these changes are quite heartbreaking. Some of these changes that need to be made require a very big purge of people, places, and things that were once very important to us, that might still be very important to us. But it's part of the process that has to happen in order to remove those energies that block us from this space. And this space is a space that's inside of ourselves. It's a place where we see that we truly worship the divine, or the consciousness that exists within ourselves, which cannot happen if we're holding on to things that are preventing that particular light from shining, so to speak. Okay. We have the Wheel of Fortune showing up, and that doesn't really surprise me for this energy. When we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, we're talking about major cycles, major changes, and we're also talking about destiny, right? Destined events. Some of you, I did have the Sun underneath that, and then the Three of Cups also. I don't feel that's part of this reading, but I do feel that someone's going to see that and know that that's significant for them. So here, when we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, what we're really talking about is we're talking about the Egyptian goddess Hathor. When you read tarot books, they'll tell you that these are the four heavenly animals. However, if you're familiar with Egyptian mythology, all of these are forms of Hathor. There's even depictions in certain places where they describe Hathor holding a book. This is one of the forms of Hathor, both the benevolent form as the Eye of Ra, and then the malefic form when Ra sent her to go destroy mankind in a particular mythology. And so this if you're familiar with the tarot and the Hathor and Torah that's being written on this, then you probably understand that this is about Hathor. It's all about the wheel of the universe is the law of Hathor, is essentially what it means in different languages. And so this is really about the divine order. Right? The divine order, the cosmos is the divine order. If we look at this really represents the zodiac and the stars and the planets. And then this represents the four elements. More so than the four elements, it really represents three alchemical elements and then the process of dissolution. Meaning that the whole process of the stars is the universal mechanism as they move. They are causing our alchemy. And so this time period that we just moved out of with this eclipse cycle that happened here, which is all about endings, right? The second eclipse cycle within the year is always about endings. What we've really come into is the energy where a certain dissolution has taken place, and we're going to start rebuilding something new for ourselves moving into the next eclipse cycle. So right now, there is a whole heavenly divine process taking place. So if you are someone who has recently suffered loss, if you are currently undergoing this whole reinvention of self, if you're currently experiencing some very tumultuous energies, just understand that this is happening for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that all losses have to be permanent. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of this pain is something that you're going to carry, but this is something that's happening to alchemize some places within you, particularly unseen places, in order to make you a better version of yourself. The ones who really suffer are the ones who don't take that opportunity, because what happens, they will find themselves in the cycle again and again and again, because the alchemization will happen, right? It will have its way. And if it doesn't, that's how we have a very miserable life, because we never did the things that we were here to do. So, you may notice that, for example, people who are not able to self-examine, people who are not able to improve upon themselves in any way, as they get older, you notice that their lives get worse and worse and worse and worse. And whoever this message is for, you're not meant to be down that path. You're meant to be on a path where we come into the space of ultimate devotion. When we see this card, one of the things that's taking place also with that triangle is this is all about the energy that we're putting out and the energy that we receive. Our paths are all navigating us towards some sort of semblance of being ultimate creators, right? It may not be the path in this lifetime, but over the overarching story of our souls, this is what we're navigating towards. This is why we say we're all returning to source. There is something here inside this energy where there is a hesitancy to step into that role for someone. It's almost a feeling of, I'm afraid of being proven wrong, right? I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to get myself caught up in some sort of cycle where these things are happening to me because I fell for this delusion. There may be energies like that that are taking place. One of the things that is also coming into this reading here is this feeling of this very sweet sort of energy that's underlying all of this. I do feel that even if you are struggling with this energy and you're having a hard time, there may be something here that's rather hopeful. It feels very childlike. Here with the Six of Materials, we have this sort of giving and receiving energy with the Page of Inspiration. There's something new with the Three of Emotions. It's a meeting. Some of you in this time period, you have met somebody new. You may have reconnected with somebody from your past who's a friend. There may be this sort of very childlike innocence that comes into this space. I do feel for many of you, you have connected with somebody that's of like mind. And so that's one of the benefits of this time period. Now, some of you, that's not going to be the case for, but I am feeling that that is actually an underlying energy that's coming in for a lot of you. There may even be this sort of reclaiming of the inner child. If you are someone who hasn't necessarily connected with somebody new, there may be a reclaiming of some aspect of yourself that is the inner child. For some of you, this is the first time that you're actually working with your inner child, is after the events that have taken place, particularly from the black moon to the solar eclipse. I'm feeling that entire time period was extremely significant for people. Yeah, this is a time period where people are being very honest about their connections, right? Being very honest about their connections. What do I contribute? What do other people contribute to me? What are the underlying self-sabotage mechanisms that are at play within my connections? I feel that the people who are going to benefit from this energy the most are the people who are able to see things from all sides, right? So if you're used to just seeing things from your side, it's going to be something you want to take care of. This is a very self-reflective collective that I am speaking to, however, because I do have the sage underneath that. So with this, there's this... Again, remember, not everybody who watches this reading is this reading going to be meant for. And so my messages are meant for confirmation only, so unless otherwise specified. And this is definitely a confirmation only. I know that whoever this message is for, you are someone who self-reflects. You do take things from other people's viewpoints, maybe to your own detriment sometimes. Because this honesty isn't really speaking to me about somebody who... This honesty isn't really speaking to me about somebody who is closed off to viewing themselves, right? That's not really the energy I'm seeing here. I usually get like devil energy or Seven of Swords when I get that. I'm seeing somebody here who, notice all the colors, the various colors. We understand various aspects of ourselves. Whoever this message is for, you've been on a very long path of internal alchemy, self-realization. Your spirituality and your healing journey are probably merged. You may not even resonate with being on a spiritual journey. That's okay. Labels. And but what's happening here is that we are being very honest about maybe a particular connection is something that we had to leave behind, or it's the energy that we receive in particular connections. I feel that there is something here where we have over time repeatedly sacrificed our internal devotion to others. So this feels a little bit like allowing things that we shouldn't have allowed, and allowing that to create scenarios or situations for us to then, maybe in the past behave ways that we shouldn't, or maybe you find that that's still the case about behaving ways that you shouldn't. But I do see inside the eyes of this honesty card, there is something that's rather tortured. And so I do feel that whoever this message is for, you've been taken advantage of a lot. And this is kind of an energy where now what you're doing is you're giving all of that energy with the Six of Materials, you're giving it to this journey. It's just all your energy needs to go into this crossing of the threshold, right? You may be, for example, in a transition, and you may feel like you're in a transition. When we're in that transition energy, sometimes it can feel like crawling, right? We feel like we're crawling on the ground, like, where am I going? How do I do this? The message of this threshold card is you don't have to be in that transition. It's time to stand, right? Put all your energy, your emotions, your thoughts, your willpower into standing, because whatever it is, these cycles and these things from these connections that were really self-sabotage mechanisms. How do we know what a self-sabotage mechanism is? It proves our beliefs true, right? If we wind up in these cycles that have continuously proved our deep beliefs true, not what we know we deserve, but our deep internal side, right? What we think about people, right? What we think people are going to do, how they're going to treat us, then we know we've self-sabotaged in some way. Is that always the responsibility of another person? No, sometimes that's our responsibility, right? Because again, it comes down to what have we projected? Are we projecting things onto people and then receiving the feedback as, oh, you're proving me right, because sometimes people do that and the other person feels like, you're crazy, I don't know what's going on, right? So we have to be very honest about these things. For some of you, you were the recipient of that behavior. For some of you, this is about learning that you're giving too much, that you're extending yourself too much. One thing about giving to people is that after a while you get to see that they no longer appreciate that you're giving to them, right? No matter how much you give to them, they think, oh, you just have more and more and more. And this is the message of the Six of Pentacles. For somebody here, it's about drawing very clear boundaries inside of your life about who you will give to and what you're giving, especially if you're a mother. So please pay attention to that. If you're a motherly energy, you may not even have children. You just might be a motherly energy. Pay very close attention to what you're giving to people, whether it's your emotions, your time, your attention, your finances, your resources, your home even, because there are some lessons that are wrapped up in that. Here with the Page of Inspiration, some of you are rebirthing yourself in a very creative way. My only advice for that is make sure that that creativity is not serving as a vehicle by which to escape your problems, right? All of us creative people know that that can be a very shadow side of creativity. Some of you, however, you are using this creativity to sort of transform something within you and to come closer into a place of devotion, not only to yourself, but the things that you truly value. Here with the Three of Emotions, this is the Three of Cups. And just because I looked at this and then looked over here, if you're someone who drinks to kind of like drown your sorrows, just be mindful of that, right? I don't think that too many people who this reading is for are going to resonate with that, but some people get in a funk and it happens. And but more than that, this Three of Emotions is like a meeting of emotional minds. And some of you, you're finding soul tribe at this time. For some of you, you're just being a little bit more social at this time. Again, same message. If you are being a little bit more social, just make sure that you're not using the extroversion as a way to cover up the true problem or to cover up your feelings about something, especially if it's grief or loss or sadness. There may be a meeting of like people at this time, though. Okay, let's see. Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Okay. 3 cards, please. Oh, 4. Oh, I heard this one goes up here. Okay, so bottom is over here. Okay, so these 3 here. We have the 6 of Pentacles, the 4 of Chalices, the Knight of Wands, and I'm being told that they go exactly like this. So we have the 6 of Pentacles on the 6 of Pentacles. Again, lots of energy of what it is that we're giving, right? What is it that we're giving? What is it that we're receiving? The energy, how are we behaving? How are others behaving towards us? Where are our boundaries? Do we respect other people's boundaries? So the 6 of Pentacles can be very complicated in that way. Here we have the 4 of Chalices over the page of Inspiration. Yeah, be mindful if you are using your creative outlets as a way to cover over something, okay? Especially with this 4 of Cups showing up there. I do feel for some of you, you are working through some sort of numbness right now, and that numbness may be being worked through with your creativity. Here with the 3 of Emotions to the Knight of Wands, there is this Knight of Wands energy. There may be somebody that is trying to connect with you that has not very consistent behavior. Okay, be aware of situations that start very quickly, because that those are usually the situations that don't last very well. Not all the time. It's just that tends to be a pattern. So just be mindful of that. This Knight of Wands, however, this is somebody who wants to adventure. So someone here, in light of all this, if you have actually stepped past that threshold, if you do find that, you've come to the center of this devotion, you may be finding that a lot of adventure is coming to you, a lot of invitations to travel, a lot of invitations to meet new people. There are things like that are taking place here. Whether or not you engage in those is entirely up to you. I'm not seeing here whether or not that's something that will help you in the long run with this energy. It just seems to be showing up as this is an energy that's in a lot of people's fields right now. Now, the very bottom of this is the Lovers, and this is the overall energy. And the Lovers, for me, it really speaks about alchemy, right? Because when we take the traditional Rider-Waite, I know a lot of people call it the Choice because of its depiction of Adam and Eve, but when we take the regular Rider-Waite, we have basically what's being shown on the Wheel of Fortune. We have the angel representing Mercury, we have the woman representing Salt, and then we have the man representing Sulfur. And the mountain between them is the process of dissolution. That's the obstacle, the spiritual climb, right? And so this is what I'm seeing here. There's this process of alchemy, but the process of alchemy that's really being spoken about is our relationship with others, our relationship to ourselves, and our relationship to others. If we have no relationships to others, that's something that this time period is really asking us to examine. Some of you don't want to have a relationship to others. This probably may not be your reading, right? Because this is very specifically what this reading is about. So whoever this message is for, this is a very transformative time. One of the things that we're transforming is some sort of pain, sorrow, guilt, shame, regret, loss, a feeling of being left out, a feeling of being, for some of you, marooned, right? Like being left behind, being the scapegoat, being closed away, never being accepted. Those are all the kinds of energies that seem to be trying to work out here. Some of you, it's like never being chosen, or always being the one on the sidelines is like some sort of option. So just be mindful of that is an energy that's really trying to work itself out at this time. It's really trying to alchemize itself. And it starts with our own beliefs about ourselves and what it is that we actually are worth and our own values. So this is where that devotion comes in, right? Others cannot be devoted to us if we're not devoted to ourselves. And so really analyzing the self-beliefs is very important at this time. Again, I do feel, because of the presence of the Wheel of Fortune, this is carrying us in, especially with that threshold, this is carrying us into a new phase. And if this is what someone is wrapping up, you can rest your little booty and bet your little booty that whatever is coming in this next phase is something that's going to be quite profound. I keep getting that message over and over. in other readings. And so whatever this next cycle is that's leading us into March, and I do feel that the culmination is going to be in that time period, there seems to be something pretty profound on the horizon for most people, especially in regards to this lover's energy, whether it's romantic or platonic. So if you've been calling in soul tribe, if you've been calling in a very special partner, this does seem to be part of the process of that alchemization to lead you to those places. So I'm gonna leave this here. This is a little bit longer for me, and I hope you guys are faring well. And if you follow the other channel, there is an announcement on the other channel. Be sure to check that out because it's going to affect what's available to you on that channel. And until next time.